Yeah, it's interesting, like again, focusing on Jaylen Brown, I look at him, he's a god, right? Physically, he's incredible. His accomplishments on the courts. I mean, just to rattle off some more of his milestones beyond the NBA Finals MVP award this year. He's a 3-time NBA All-Star. He made the Eastern Conference Finals 6 times. He went to the NBA Finals not just this year, but in 2022 also. Without a doubt, this is a young man with a very, very bright future in front of him. I think he deserves every penny of the $300 million contract. But as you're talking during the recruit process, he is a young man. And you mentioned the family is involved. Do you ever come into a situation where you really have to work on convincing the family as much as the athlete to join your agency?
Every situation is different, and we're a family-oriented agency. I always view us as kind of a powerful boutique group. There's some really successful big agencies out there. There's smaller ones. For us, the relationship with all of our players is really important, and their families. So, that's what we focus on. If there was a player out there that just said, "Do the contract," don't want to deal with you on a day-to-day basis, we'd probably give them numbers to really good agents and agencies out there. But for those who want a relationship beyond just doing the deal, that's what we really strive for and focus on.
In the recruiting process, there's got to be a part of it that's really not glamorous. Like in your background, was there a piece of the recruiting process that you could reflect on and be like, I spent countless hours driving around in remote neighborhoods across the country. I was living in motels. Like, what part of being a arguably the most impressive sports agent on the planet today, what was it contradicted with? Like, what have you gone through that isn't so sexy that people should remember or know about?
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I don't know about the most successful sports agent. There's a ton in all these sports that are really successful, really good, and been doing it for a lot longer than me. But no, you go all over the globe, like you mentioned. There's flights, there's hotel rooms, there's rent-a-cars to places that aren't the most glamorous big cities, but that's part of the deal. I actually like going to see clients or recruits, or hopefully we get them as clients, to see where they grew up and see what their family's all about in their hometowns. Is that different than New York, where you live, in LA, where I live? Absolutely. But for me, that's part of the journey. A friend of mine I always joke with, where when you recruit somebody, there's so much that is out of your control. You can kind of do your thing. And obviously my joke is, you run your race. And as long as I run my race, I'm not going to look left and right of what other agencies are doing or promising or how they're going about the recruiting. I'm going to, pitch why I think we're one of the best out there and why we'd be a good fit for that player and family. If it works out, amazing. If it doesn't, we're going to put our best foot forward at the end of the day. And that's what I love doing. I'm pretty genuine and straightforward. I'm not good at the BS a lot of the time, especially with families. And, that's why we've been fortunate enough with the players we have, that I think they really appreciate what we offer and our candidness at the end of the day.
Glue, part of me boasting about the fact that you are a very successful agent and in your career is because I know you as a person. And one of your traits that I think is highly successful beyond just securing these incredibly humongous contracts for your clients is loyalty. And it's not your loyalty to the athlete, but even your athlete's loyalty to you. So, for example, when you and I met, you represented Al Horford, who's also on the Boston Celtics championship team. And I know that you worked with him and you had a lot of love and respect for him, not just as an athlete, but as an individual. And I know that you eventually secured a huge contract. I think it was over $100 million for Al. Am I correct?
Yeah, we've done actually 2 since that time for him over the years. So that's correct.
So how much for Al Horford?
He's earned every penny and then some. He's had a Hall of Fame career. But Al, I've known Al a long time. And Al, when I started my own company, it was kind of my first big deal and first client there, followed by his other Boston teammate now, Drew Holiday. And it's one of those things where every agent, every person in any business always has their big break, their big start. And for me, it is Al Horford, it is Drew Holiday, and their families who are incredible. But one thing that they probably would make fun of me about is I make sure to remind them of how kind of lucky and blessed I am and how I try not to ever take that for granted. Because if not for them, we may not be talking on this, this interview right here, and may not have the opportunity to have 4 NBA champions on the Celtics and some other incredible people who are clients as well. So you don't get that lucky in life sometimes. I know it's a mixture between hard work and luck, and obviously you need to have a little bit of both. But when it comes, especially, the holidays and the Horfords, I am very, very blessed.
The fourth player on this championship team is Sam Hauser, correct? That's your client as well.
Sammy Hauser, that is correct.
So did the Celtics, after they won the championship, call you and thank you for building this championship team for them?
They did not. I happened to be lucky enough to be there. Brad Stevens and his front office with Mike Zarin and those guys, they built the team. We just happen to be very blessed and lucky to have 4 incredible players, incredible people, and really important members of that championship roster, contributors as part of that. So I actually
incredible.
I just remember speaking to a couple other agents in the business before they ended up winning. Like, they've been doing this for 20 plus years? Have they had an opportunity to be this close with some of these guys? And a lot of them said no, because it's very hard to obviously have a champion or multiple champions. It's a lot harder to have. I think we had 4 of the 7 rotational players, but even for me, as special as Sam and Jaylen are, like I mentioned, Al and Drew gave me my shot, gave me my start. So having them win one together, it was Al's first, it was Drew's second after he was traded there. Like, it was a very special moment that, will probably rank at the top or toward the top in anything I do in this line of work.